There's some dramatic news as Formula One's summer break comes to an end and the season resumes at the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Isack Hadjar, the Red Bull driver, is out for this weekend's race at Zandvoort. The Frenchman has fractured his wrist during a training session over the summer break. We understand it was during a boxing session to keep himself fit. And the fractured wrist means he cannot drive. Wrists are obviously critically important in terms of feel from the steering wheel, the forces that are put through it during cornering. So doctors have said he cannot drive. It's uncertain how long he'll be out. It could be just for this weekend. But wrist injury is normally 6 to 7 weeks recovery. So it could be he misses Monza and Madrid as well. But this is a moving target at the moment. We need to wait and see. In the meantime, Red Bull hasn't gone for its reserve driver, Yuki Tsunoda. In normal circumstances, you would have expected Tsunoda to have got the nod to step up if Hadjar or Max Verstappen were unable to continue over a race weekend. But the summer break has given Red Bull time to think about what's best to do. And it's done what Mercedes did back at the 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix when Lewis Hamilton was forced out through COVID. There, it elected not to go for its reserve drivers. Back then it had Stoffel, Van Dorn, Esteban Gutierrez as reserves. Instead, it spoke to Williams and got George Russell on board. The reason, race experience and experience with the current cars. It was valid then, and that reason is even more valid now for Red Bull with Liam Lawson. The 2026 regulations are very complicated. These cars with their 50-50 split between internal combustion engine and battery power, they're energy starved. It's very complicated to harvest. It's very complicated to deploy. It needs a lot of understanding. It needs a lot of tricks, a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking, a lot of integration with the engineers. And it takes time to understand how best to get lap time out of it. And it's something Liam Lawson has been particularly strong on this season. So Red Bull, with a sprint weekend in Zandvoort, didn't have time to get Tsunoda up to speed to understand all these little intricacies that are absolutely critical to lap time. So Lawson was a no-brainer in terms of stepping up, going up alongside Max Verstappen at the main team for this weekend, just on from 2025 when he did 2 races and was dropped because things weren't clicking there. So we'll go into what this means for Yuki Tsunoda in a second. But for now, let's hear from Ed Straw and what this means for Lawson.
Liam Lawson was set up to fail at Red Bull Racing in 2025. Not by design, they didn't hold him back or deliberately make him slow, but he was a driver with limited experience, 2-part seasons in Formula One under his belt, alongside Max Verstappen in a difficult to drive car. In that situation, the things you need to give your driver are time and your support. Red Bull did neither. Yes, he really struggled. Australia, he had a messy qualifying with a couple of offs, then he crashed out of the race. In China, he looked all at sea with the car. I remember noting that in FP1, watching trackside, and he never really got on the pace there. But to then bust him down to Racing Bulls was completely ridiculous. But he took that chance. He got the team to make some steering changes to give him the feel he wanted. That helped him improve progressively as the season went on, and he's carried that into this year. He's adapted well to the power unit demands, very good at identifying opportunities for gaining pace with the power units and where to avoid losing pace through the way you drive. He's been pretty consistent. There have been times where Lindblad has had the pace advantage over him. That's a little bit of a concern, but by and large he's had a really strong season. So this opportunity is a fantastic one for Lawson, and I say that within the context of seeing it as a free hit. Because basically you would expect a driver to fail in this scenario. He's never driven the car before. It's at short notice. He's alongside Max Verstappen. It's not an easy car. But anything he does beyond that, I think, should enhance his reputation, provided people are realistic. So for me, it's no negatives, all positives. That's the mindset I think Liam Lawson should have, because it's when you're unburdened with all those expectations, when you can get into that flow state, rely on the unconscious processing, work through your process, that you get the best results. And if you can do that, it will only enhance his reputation. And he needs to do that because he's, again, in a ridiculous situation, because he's fighting to stay in Formula One. If Racing Bulls was a normal F1 team, not worried about the Red Bull driver conveyor belt, there'd be no question about his place on the grid in 2027. So this is his chance to say to Red Bull Racing and Racing Bulls, hey, this is how much I've come on, and to prove that he has to be on the grid in 2027 and beyond. And if necessary, it's a good chance to show to other teams just how good he is as well. So it should be all positives, provided people keep their expectations in check.
Just as this is a fantastic opportunity for Liam Lawson at Red Bull, so too is this a chance for Yuki Tsunoda to show what he can do in Formula One machinery. He's obviously deeply disappointed at the end of last season when Red Bull elected not to continue with him. They took Hadjar instead. And he's been pondering his future. He took the reserve role this year just to keep his foot in the door in Formula One. He's been in the simulator. He has been in engineering meetings. He's been following the team. He's been at selected races. So he's been kept a close eye on things at Red Bull, waiting for the chance to step up. And probably on a normal weekend, if Hadjar or Max Verstappen had been forced out on a Friday or a Saturday, Red Bull would have slotted him in and got through the weekend. But it's the summer break timing, the fact that the Red Bulls had time to prepare, time to think of who best to replace it. And it's come to the conclusion why Liam Lawson is a better fit, because all of that experience of the F126 cars, whereas Yuki can go to Racing Bulls. At Racing Bulls, he's going to have a tough ask. He's coming in on a sprint weekend. So there is one single practice session on Friday before he's into sprint qualifying. Then he's got the sprint race, normal qualifying, and then the race. Sprint weekends are very intense. There's no time to catch a breath. He's going to have to hit the ground running. He can't afford any mishaps. But this is Formula One. You've got to show what you can do on the day. Against Arvid Lindblad, he's got quite a tough teammate. Lindblad may be a rookie, but he's taken to these cars like a duck to water. He's gone top of energy harvesting very quickly. He's shown his natural speed. There's been weekends where he's been faster than Liam Lawson. Hasn't quite had the consistency, which is why Lawson, has come through, scored all those points, is currently the leading driver outside the top 4 teams in the Drivers' Championship. A great, strong first half of the season to him. And as Ed says, there is almost nothing for him to lose going to Red Bull. It's a chance to banish some of those ghosts from the start of last season, show what he can do, show that it's not just at Racing Bulls, he can impress. But for Yuki, he's fighting for a Formula One future. The driver market looks quite static heading into next season. There aren't many openings coming up. This may well be why there's been rumours in recent days that Yuki Tsunoda is looking to IndyCar as a potential option for him in the future. But whether it's just this race, the Dutch Grand Prix, or there's more, wrist injuries normally can push you out for 6 to 7 weeks. Daniel Ricciardo was out for quite a chunk back in 2023 when Liam Lawson replaced him. So there could be fresh opportunity for him. Yuki could get the Italian Grand Prix. He could get the Spanish Grand Prix in Madrid. There are bigger chances coming up. But he's going to have to show his speed. He's going to have to show that he can do it. But there is a strong reference point in Lindblad. And Formula One is about seizing these opportunities, making the most of everything, showing that you can do it when it matters. And this may well be Yuki's last chance to prove to either Red Bull or teams outside that he deserves his chance in Formula One.